Right, my people, to Pro Max today in Biafra land as the indigenous people of Biafra. Yes, as the Biafra Liberation Army has lost a member, the IPOB has lost a member in hot, fresh attack. Yes, the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa has also blown hot, has also reacted to this with immediate effect. All right, my people, without further ado, we'll be going into the details of this news. Remember, we are your one and only Let's Talk TV. All right, tension has risen in Biafra land as another violent confrontation between the security forces, the zoo terrorists, and the Biafra Liberation Army. The indigenous people of Biafra have left one dead and several injured. The incident occurred in early hours in the morning and has further heightened an already volatile situation in the region. The latest clash took place in the outskirts of the Biafra land, southeast, where there was reportedly a meeting and there was an attack in that same joint by the joint task force of the zoo military and the zoo army and the zoo police units. And according to the eyewitnesses, the forces ambushed a gathering, and this is where they were caught. While full details still remain unclear, it is confirmed that one member has been confirmed dead, yes, killed, while others are sustaining injury. The identity of the disease has not yet been released officially, but the death has sent shockwaves to the Biafran community, with many accusing the government of launching a brutal crackdown on peaceful activists. Local residents described the scene as chaotic, with gunfire erupting without warning. This one is coming from someone within the area. He said, "We heard gunshots and saw people running helter-skelter, running in every direction. Everyone was scared, and we had witnessed the attack from a distance." In response to the death, there has been a call for immediate, like I said, immediate retaliation, condemning what they called the state-sponsored terrorism, which is what they've been doing right from time. It is not a new thing. It is not something that is new one way or another. It is something that has been clear right from time. The tension has risen all over the place. Of course, CPM Ekpa has come out in a fiery broadcast and has blown hot, lashed out at the zoo authorities and vowed retribution over the deaths of the member. Ekpa, who has gained a full-time reputation for his hardline stance on the Biafra independence, condemned the zoo government for what they did, a cowardly and unprovoked attack on his people. He has come out and has said that this particular Black Day will not be forgotten at any point in time, but had declared in a live stream, which of course is being followed by thousands of his supporters and followers. The blood of these fallen heroes will not be in vain. The Nigerian government must answer for their crimes. We will continue to resist this occupation and we will not rest until Biafra is free. Ekpa's words have further inflamed and caused more reaction. The zoo government has yet to officially make a statement on the latest clash, but sources within the military have defended the action. Of course, that is what they will see as a necessary response to the group they consider a threat to national security. But my people, they consider these people a national threat to national security, while there are others, their own people, causing more mayhem than you would ever think of in your entire life, and they've not seen it, they've not looked at it as national security cause. My people, it should just let you know how far these people are ready to go, or how far these people are ready to take whatever it is whenever it comes to anything that looks like it's Southeast or Igbo. Shows how backward they are and how far they would go to do anything.
They abducted. Nigeria government intensified its widespread massacre of Biafra people under the Fulani-controlled government of Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 and has continued since then. Our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, escaped assassination when Nigeria military invaded his home on September 17, 2017, an invasion that left 28 other Biafrans dead. 3 years later, Nigeria went as far as abducting our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, in Kenya and renditioning him to Nigeria in June 2021, and has detained him in solitary confinement for more than 3 years now, despite 2 Nigeria court judgments and a United Nations work group on arbitrary detention mandating his release with compensation. These ongoing brutalities against our people serve as frequent reminder that the war that supposedly ended in 1970 never really ended. In response to the various shades of existential threats Nigeria is presenting to the people of Biafra, and out of the natural law of self-defense and consistent with the United Nations and African Union charters on people's right to self-defense, we started carrying arms officially in 2022. Now, therefore, to protect ourselves from government-sponsored violence, we have reached an incontrovertible conclusion that self-determination and self-governance are the only viable permanent solutions against ongoing violence orchestrated by the Nigeria state against the indigenous people of Biafra, and both give us state power to protect ourselves from external aggression, such as invasion by Fulanis from other countries, which Nigeria is not preventing but facilitating. On the basis of these and many more grievances listed hereunder, and knowing fully well that we are a group of people confronting several extenuating circumstances that collectively make our people an endangered species, and knowing fully well that the only means for our collective survival is self-preservation and self-determination, we are taking these steps to declare the restoration of the independence of the United States of Biafra, also known as the Confederating States of Biafra. Before independence in 1960, population distribution in Nigeria conformed to global trends, in which population centers are in lower elevation regions with better climate and easy access to water, food, and shelter. In 1960, Nigeria was comprised of 3 supposedly equal regions: North with 14 provinces, East with 12 provinces, and West with 9 provinces. This meant that the North had 14 provinces, while the South had 21 provinces. However, after independence, and with political power in the hands of unscrupulous elements from the North, the geopolitical distortion began in the most senseless manners. Nigeria became a country where human settlements violated laws of nature, with outrageous claims that more people live in the hot, arid North than the mild coastal South. Gradual and arbitrary creation of states by mainly military leaders from the North over the years resulted in the North today having 19 states and 414 local government areas, while the South has 17 states and 355 local government areas. This distortion in the geopolitical structure of Nigeria has been used to politically and economically marginalize the people of Biafra. Because the number of states and local governments are directly used for political representation and revenue allocation to the disadvantage of the South, even though as much as 90% of the resources sustaining Nigeria come from oil and gas resources in Biafra land. Distortions in geopolitical structure, resource control, religious incompatibility, and a larger ambition by the Fulani oligarchy to make Nigeria a Fulani country are at the core of instability and insecurity in Nigeria. And all avenues by indigenous people to seek redress have been met with brute force. Such brute force has resulted in military invasion of numerous communities in Biafra land and indiscriminate killings of people in those communities at genocidal scale. For example, Section 1 of the Biafra Declaration Handbook captures several of the Nigeria government-sponsored killings in the hinterland of the United States of Biafra, also called the Southeast, as well as the South-South. Notably, Ezu River massacre under Governor Peter Obi, Onisha Mpo massacre under Governor Obiano, Ogbaru massacres under Governor Soludo, Obibo massacre under Governor Wike, Ohafia and Aba massacres, including 150 youths praying at Ngwa High School and another hundreds of innocent Biafrans on a parade in Aba, as well as the invasion of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu's home that left at least 28 people dead under Governor Ikpeazu. Also, widespread Ebonyi massacres under Governor Umahi, widespread Enugu massacres under Governor Ugwuanyi, widespread Imo massacres, including repeated invasions of Izombe, Olo, Osu, under Governor Zodimma. Nigeria terrorist forces also unleashed mayhem and killed hundreds of Biafrans who were celebrating in Port Harcourt Donald Trump's victory in the 2016 US presidential election. In all days, tens of thousands of Biafrans have been killed. But the coastal regions of Biafra have also not been spared in these killings, and more than 4,000 people were killed between 1999 and 2024. In particular, Ode massacre in 1999, Kwale massacres in 1999, and ongoing Ozoro Ole massacres 1999, 2003, Uweru massacres 2021 to 2023, Okuama massacre 2024, Olodiama massacre 2024, and not to forget one of the worst recorded massacres in human history in Asaba, 1967-70. Also, the eastern flank of Biafra, covering former Cross River and Akwa Ibom states, has its record of Nigeria government-sponsored killings, including in 2021 when Nigeria military invaded the following communities with substantial loss of lives: Afahat, Ekot, Apan, Okan, Owa, Ekot, Afanga, Ntok, Nsek, Ekot, Upon, Eto, Ekot, Otu, Ekot, Obok, Ntak, Ekot, Akan, and some other communities. Since after the 2021 invasion, the military has maintained presence there and are frequently abducting people, killing them, harvesting their organs, snatching people's wives, and raping our women. They maintain checkpoints where travelers must disembark from their vehicles with arms raised while passing the checkpoint on foot. This pattern of military and police intimidation is commonplace in the whole of Biafra land. It beats our imagination how people's lives can be devalued this much in one's native country. In contrast, there has never been military invasion of communities in northern Nigeria, just as there are rarely communal clashes in the north, unlike the south. Because of Nigeria government's divide and rule strategy in the south, several communities are separated from historical alliances and forced into new ones, often with poorly defined boundaries. Such machinations by the Nigeria government have been responsible for the spate of boundary-inspired communal clashes in Biafra land, which is relatively absent in the north. The United States of Biafra will reunite communities along natural and historical boundaries and bring an end to boundary disputes. Aside from killings directly conducted by Nigeria government, various Fulani-affiliated terrorist groups such as Boko Haram, ISWAP, Fulani herdsmen, in their desire to displace indigenous people and take over their lands, are invading communities and slaughtering them in a scale never seen before. For example, many Fulani-installed kings and political appointees forcefully seize indigenous people's lands and transfer the lands to Fulanis. The Oba of Benin is reported to have sold in 3 years 1,200 acres of land to Aligoke Dangote, and Dangote trucks are used to ship in Fulani terrorists into these lands, from where the Fulanis operate and unleash terror in the neighboring communities and the entire coastal region, especially in Eka State, former Delta State, where the kidnappers in Eka land come from Benin, former Edo State. The Fulani terrorists and kidnappers in Awo, in Abovo County, reportedly will make you cook for them, cook for the terrorists, and have you watch them rape your wife in order to spare your life. And you have to pay 5 million naira for them to release your wife to you. Furthermore, kidnapping and rape by Fulani herdsmen in several communities in Delta State like Ibide and Avre in Isoko have been reported. Such attacks have contributed to farmers not being able to access their net lands, resulting in widespread hunger and poverty. Repeated attacks by Fulani terrorists and killer herdsmen in 2001, 2010, and 2023, and early part of 2024 in Uweru Kingdom in Urobo Isoko led to over 300 persons losing their lives. In the eastern flank of the United States of Biafra, Fulani terrorists are operating unchallenged as they have established terrorist cells at Obanliku, Obudu, Bumaji, Ogoja, Akampa, Mbak, which they renamed Nasarawa, Bogobri, where they sell human parts of those they killed, particularly those that are unable to pay ransoms. Often the military is accused of complicity or in the minimum unwilling to prevent or stop these atrocities from happening. It was on the account of this that General T.Y. Danjuma famously said that the military colludes with the invading terrorists, and that if we wait for the military to protect us, we would all die. And he consequently asked indigenous people to explore opportunities for self-defense. And that's what we are doing. We are not committing terrorism. Rather, we are defending ourselves against terrorism. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not inciting violence and is not committing terrorism. Rather, he was sensitizing his people against terrorist threats. In the same vein, our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, is not committing terrorism. Rather, he is defending his people against terrorism. I stand here to say that all over the world, killing people is called homicide, and it's a crime. But in Nigeria, Fulanis are killing people all over the country. They are committing homicide, but the Nigerian government doesn't treat their killings as homicide. Rather, they give them all manner of entitlement, okay? Rather, what they treat as terrorism is you defending yourself. So, Nigeria government wants you to let Fulani kill you. In fact, they want you to bend your neck so that when Fulani strikes you once, your head falls off. And we said we wouldn't do that. And because of that, we are hell-bent defending ourselves against terrorism, including against Britain, okay? BBC interviewed Ahmadu Bello in 1964. And if you listen to that interview, you will see that Nigeria was never one country. And Britain forcing us to be in the same country is exercising futility. Since the April 14, 2014 abduction of the Chibok girls and Nigeria government's refusal to rescue the girls, Boko Haram and other Fulani invaders have acted with so much impunity, leaving extreme savagery in their trail. October 30, 2024, The press reports that Fulani invaders have taken over the largest Nigerian military training camp in the north. There is no word yet from the government. Even the blind can see the game plan. As Nigeria deployed its military down south, foreign invaders overrun the north. The entirety of the confederating states of Biafra have come to the realization that without state autonomy, it is impossible for us to exercise full control over our land, which makes it easy for grabbing by invading terrorist headers who, despite being armed, also enjoy protection from the military if indigenous people are to confront them. The political and economic marginalization of people of Biafra are well documented in sections 1 and 2 of the Biafra Declaration Handbook, and a few of them are listed here. The section titled Man's Inhumanity to Man, Nigeria's 1999 Constitution, a travesty, narrates how Nigeria's exclusive list is a grand plan to dispossess us of our natural inheritance. It is noteworthy that while the Nigeria government has added every imaginable resource in the South to the exclusive list, comparable resources in the North are left under the control of the North, such that oil, gas, and solid minerals, including salt, in the South are in the exclusive list and therefore under the control of the Nigeria government. Whereas similar resources in the North, for example, gold in Zamfara, is not controlled by the Nigeria government, it is controlled by Zamfara people. While Nigeria government cuts away the proceeds from oil and gas exploration, our people are left to suffer the environmental degradation caused by exploration and production activities and the associated oil spills that have ruined aquatic life, fishing, and access to potable water in the region. Preceding the 1999 Constitution was Abuja 1989 Declaration that set out an Islamic agenda to transform Nigeria into an Islamic state. They sought to make Nigeria a member of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, ensure that Muslims control strategic positions within the country, and ultimately have Nigeria ruled by a president and vice president of the Islamic faith, a feat they have achieved with the 2023 selection and coronation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Yerima Shetima as president and vice president, respectively. Aside, many indices of religious incompatibility abound and frequently lay bare the deceit of one Nigeria. Times without number, Christians and Biafrans are killed by the Islamists in Nigeria over events that happen outside Nigeria. Notably, Nigeria was the only place in the world where Christians and Biafrans were killed over the U.S. war against Taliban in Afghanistan in 2001. Whereas in other parts of the world, people protesting against the war burnt only American flags and George Bush's effigies. Likewise, a Danish cartoon of Prophet Muhammad in Denmark in September 2005 meant that many more Christians and Biafrans had to be killed by the Islamists in Nigeria. Between 2006 and 2007, Hundreds of Biafrans were killed in various Islamist protests against the Danish cartoon of Prophet Muhammad in the north, notably on February 18, 2006 in Maiduguri. Northern states started implementing Sharia law after Nigeria swore in a president of the Christian faith, Olusegun Obasanjo, in 1999. States in the north, led by Zamfara State, started implementing Sharia law in 2000, and by 2002, it quickly spread across the north, and its spread was accompanied by religious violence against Christians, resulting in the massacre of thousands, most of them Biafrans. The Sharia law in the north under Obasanjo was the northern Islamic states' protest over having a Nigeria president of the Christian faith. Obasanjo had promised that Sharia implementation would